All right, people, what's going on? It's just me today, so I'm going to try to get organized here. I was just wheeling and dealing on some pressure washer that we're going to be putting up here soon. That it's going to cause all kinds of problems in the world, I'm sure. But wheeling and dealing on something, and I wasn't deal. I never get a deal. I just buying it. How many do you want me to buy? All right, I'll buy it. How much do you want me to pay for it? Okay, I'll pay for it. How about I pay you a little more? That's what tends to happen when I wheel and deal. But what's going on, people? It's Friday. We were going to skip out on the podcast. I said, no, I've got stuff to say. We've got worlds to take over. So there's no reason why we can't do a solo podcast for all you bros that are, and three ladies that are in here watching. Let's see here. So let me just go to the live so I can look at my comments here. And Bryce, where's my freaking comments? I'm live now. I want to go here to the control room. This one. Bingo. Boom. And then I want to pull up my chats.
Yep, you got top chat on.
Yeah. You got to give me some monies here, people. That'll get my attention here today. Lots of monies. Lots of super chat. Come on, I want to pop it up. Open it up.
Come on, pop.
What's it saying here? Audio?
That's fine. Don't worry about that.
Pop out. Boom. Get out of here, Bryce. I don't need you. I'm talking to the people, not you. I got questions here. I got questions in not the top chat, the regular chat, live chat. Super chats always get preference. All right. Let's see here. Colin Campbell, 1999. Thanks, bro. That's a lot of cash. Let me close this window. I don't want to see that one. Let me go here, open this up. All right, if you want to pair the Powerdyne audio with a computer workstation, what interface do you recommend? That's a great question. My computer's kind of in the way here. I just got a new interface. So we were having problems originally, and I found out it wasn't the software. It was the software that was an issue. But I've got the UA audio right here. This is the Twin X Duo, which is just too much power for what you just need. A volume control basically just to connect. I love the idea of Thunderbolt, so make sure you do have a Thunderbolt device. If you don't, then you need to get the USB version. But now, instead of doing the Duo, you want the Apollo Solo. I just set it up next door. The nice thing about the Solo is it'll plug right into your laptop, and if you have Thunderbolt or if your laptop has power, then it powers itself. So there's no brick. There's no AC to DC brick. And it's, $699? It's $700. It's a lot of money for a darn volume control, basically. But then if you wanted to connect a microphone, if you wanted to use it for headphones, a decent set of headphones, it has a decent headphone amplifier. Not a great one, but a decent one. But that's the way to go. Now, that's if you're going to use like studio monitors. And so then you would need to get, while you're buying that, best place to buy that is at Sweetwater. Actually, I was just emailing the UA Universal Audio rep to try to convince them to let me do it. I don't know. We'll see. He says, well, no one ever wants to. They just never want to just. It's so frustrating because these people, the regional reps and stuff, I own a business. I should be talking to the owner of their business, and they do a good job of make sure you can't get to them. I guess I like to think I'm pretty readily available here. Like if somebody from who knows, some other company that wasn't well known like mine, and all I would do is Google search. If I get an email from anybody, guess what I do? Go Google search. These dinosaurs don't even know how to do that. It's like money is falling in their lap. They're fighting all day to try to sell stuff. These are salesmen, and I'm selling them. I'm coming them with a guaranteed sale, and they won't let me do it. I'm like I'm this weird hybrid, in that I'm a grown up, but I'm an influencer, balding grown up, but I'm technically an influencer, and I'm technically a retailer, but also kind of a marketer. And so imagine your company, whatever you sell or whatever you do for a living. You got this guy who calls you up and says, hey, I love your product. I want to take and make great videos of it. I don't want you to pay me anything. I don't want anything for free. I want to buy the product. And then I'm going to make a bunch of videos of it, and I'm going to bring you a whole new audience. And I don't know how much we're going to sell. We might sell a lot. We might sell a little. Worst case, you get some more content out there, and you get new descriptions written. You get new photos taken, and then you have another story you can tell the other salespeople when you all get together. And, oh, by the way, you're going to make some money. And, by the way, I'm going to pay you because I'm going to buy your product. And they just say no. It's unbelievable. And I understand you say no to posers. And maybe I'm a poser. Maybe I'm just the only one who doesn't know it. But it just makes a lot of sense to me that wouldn't you do a little bit of research? Hey, what's this guy talking about? Let me go look at his website. Does it look legit? He's telling me this story. First of all, let me listen. I'm having this problem with isoacoustics as well. You just say no. What do you mean no? Why is it no? All right, next one. Let's see. Nate Trout, $4.99. Thank you very much. What are your thoughts about Matt Farah's take on Tesla? The false advertising of AVs and fraud, etc. I'm not sure what I haven't watched any videos on that. Maybe you can elaborate. I didn't see anything from Matt on that. Let's see, false advertising. What's AV? What does AV mean? And fraud. They're talking about what would AV? Somebody help me out here. What's he talking about? Was he talking about the times, like the 0 to 60 times and stuff like that? And anyway, we'll come back to that. I'll look at the questions. So let's go back to the top here. Sorry, I was wheeling and dealing. What's up, OG from Dan from Minnesota? Actually, I was wheeling and dealing with somebody from Minnesota. I'll give you a little tip there. Any chance, JR says, any chance of an audio giveaway raffle? I can't think of anyone who is doing audio giveaway. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned this. We were just talking about this the other day. To do like a full garage, like full-on audio system of choice, I think it would be really sick. And we'd fly up there and install it or something like that. But yeah, we've been talking about doing something like that. It'd be cool. The problem with the giveaway right now is my ability to get stuff like shirts, hats, anything, detailing stuff to create packages of things. The difficulty is getting anything to sell. So giveaways are hard enough to get things in a normal supply chain environment, but and we'll probably talk about this a little bit here today about supply chain and my fears, what we're going to do to combat that, to stay in business, because I think that we're in the midst of the high probability of a business recession. Recession that hits, especially retail, hits anything that deals with the supply chain that buys products from anywhere. We're going to hit and have a recession there. The good news is I think it's going to bring a lot of manufacturing back to the United States. So I think this is a multi-step thing that started with Trump's tariffs and battles with China, and I think it's going to continue to make it more and more and more attractive to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. and not deal with trying to import things. And I think that the risk of that is the next 24 months of the businesses and the business cycle. The good news, there's lots of demand. The bad news is there's no supply, and so we'll see what happens. But we're going to take some measures to hopefully combat the possibility of that. Another super chat, Improved Garage for $10. Thank you, sir. If I wanted to buy some Cree Lights from OG right now, would support be able to help me out? Yes, Kyle can. Email Kyle@obsessedgarage.com. Problem is you're not going to get them for months. So we have pricing on all the major lights. If you have a light that you already know you want, outside of the ones that I'm pretty sure that we want to carry, I have pricing on all the ones that we're going to carry in stock. I'd place the order right now for them, but I'm going to they don't have stock of them anyway, and so I want to get my LS fixtures, which should be here. They're due to arrive next week, so they're due to arrive Thursday or Friday, hopefully. I haven't gotten tracking yet, so I'm hoping they ship and don't push it back. But talking about supply chain, we would have had Cree up and running and launched already, and available, certainly for special order. But the problem is they don't have any. But yes, we can at least get you started, get your pricing. We can get your order in, and my guess is we're probably 6 to 8 weeks for delivery of any kind of lights that we order. So just keep that in mind, and that's going to be the world we live. AV is abbreviation for autonomous vehicle. So he's talking about maybe the self-driving not being real self-driving, and talking about the functionalities being tested by Tesla drivers and is dangerous. He thinks Elon is lying when he says that Tesla is going to be fully autonomous. I don't know. Mine drives pretty well, even without that. I think you're just going to have to pay attention. And I've noticed, to answer that, going back to Nate's question about it being fraudulent, I have a Model 3, and I've spent a lot of time in it. And part of the reason why I bought the Model 3 or bought a Tesla in general was to help me with my driving issues, to where the car would be safer, would stop if I had any kind of meltdown or panic or, God forbid, pass out. And so having the ability to autopilot, I've even noticed as it approaches stoplights, stop signs, it's not as herky-jerky. The software continues to drive better. I think this AI, that there's this thing that they're building, I would guess that the error possibility is going to be smaller than what human error at some point. So I think that that's something that I think it's happening, and I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen much quicker than most people think. And I don't think it's irresponsible at all. I think that Tesla does a good job of disclaiming that you're still want to pay attention and keep your hand. They make you keep your hands on the wheel. So I think that I like it. I think it's cool. Matt, when you are working, Matt, are you working? This is from Patrick Shannon, $4.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. Matt, are you working to develop an OG app? Could be a great platform for the Hex content as well as easy retail environment. We're not yet, but I definitely want. I want that to happen. Very, very much so. We have the podcast there. We could host videos there. So I would want that. I want that at some point. But we're talking. What I need is easily $500,000 and a lot of, certainly a lot of effort and a lot of time on our part to be able to contribute to that building of that. So, yeah. So anyway, the audio giveaway raffle, like I said earlier, the JR is asking, you can't just do a raffle. It has to be some exchange in goods. This is where, I've had several weird people that have tried to chase me down and say I'm doing something illegal. We have an attorney that sets up these giveaways. It's not really a giveaway. It's a sweepstakes. And a sweepstakes, in order to not break the law, you have to bond. So you have to put up the prize. You have to bond against that prize. In some states, Florida and New York specifically, you have to get a bond. And then you have to, that way, in case you ran off with the money, you at least have the insurance policy against the prize. And then there has to be an exchange of goods. So you have to sell something specifically. Can't just sell a raffle ticket. And you can't have something that's sort of a raffle ticket but not really a raffle ticket. It has to be something. And then you have to allow free entries as well. So people have to be able to send in a note card. But usually you make the boilerplate so goofy that you have to have like a very specific note card with very specific writing, very specific, and if any of the wording's off, it gets thrown out. And so you can't just do a raffle. I wouldn't say I'm a Tesla nerd, but let me go back to the top here. I'm getting sidetracked. And I keep working through here. Have you the new Apex surface protection? I don't know what that is. You talking about Apex detailing? No, I haven't tried any of that stuff. How much? Get out of here, Ken. You almost got me there. Just added some graphene to my OG tire dressing. Just sprinkle some in there. It automatically gets better. HOA. Here's the good news on the HOA front. So, well, it's going to be bad news, but it's good news from a stick it to them standpoint. So Tesla's almost done. So I got the solar panels installed. So I got the approval. Got the solar panels installed the batteries, the power walls, which turned out to be much taller than I anticipated. for code, they needed to be a certain amount off the ground. I wanted them to hide behind the hedges. They had to rip all my hedges out, which I didn't anticipate and didn't have pre-approved. Because if anything's different than what you had approved, then they're going to come after you. And so I rushed to get I bought $4,000 it cost me to double rush some portocarpus 8-foot tall trees to come have them planted. And so we had the inspection done, planted done. They were missing one sticker. Then Tesla calls me and says, you got to take those trees out. I said, I'm not taking those trees out. I just put them in. I paid a bunch of money to get them done just for you to put one more sticker on there. Get out of here. We're going to tell that freaking guy that's doing the inspection we're good. And so that's done. But my garage doors, they're garage doors. I have brown doors on there now. They're Co-Play garbage doors. They're like $400 doors. Those doors are junk. And I bought these T-Max doors that are in insulated poly type, but it's the same color. It's brown. It's a brown door. And they're sitting in my garage ready to install. So I decided to, because the heat is on me, to actually submit for approval to get this done. And so I submitted about 30 days ago or so. 30 freaking days. This should take 2 seconds. So we followed up every week because the lady doesn't answer the phone. She doesn't come into the office. And so we followed once a week for, I've tried going over there to see her and just trying to be the nice guy. Sent all the photos, fill out the paperwork, got all the insurance policies, everything dialed in. And so every week for the last 4 weeks, I followed up and said, hey, what's going on? What do you need from me? Need anything else? We're still considering it. I don't know, they do, according to the bylaws, have the power to tell you that no to anything they feel like it. And even though it's supposed to be 5 homeowners, I think it's freaking nonsense. I've never seen any homeowners. How do I get on it? And they're supposed to have a new one every year. So I found the bylaws, which are published, and the bylaws say that after 45 days, I should have done this on my Tesla panels. The problem is I technically didn't fill out the paperwork properly because their paperwork wasn't correct. They amended their paperwork, so now I provided very specific exactly what they need. And so the paperwork has been filed, and after 45 days, it's automatically approved. And so this lady doesn't want to work. I'm just going to keep sitting, and it's not like we haven't tried to get with her. Hey, let's get this done. Whatever other things you need, let's go. They want to say no, but they know they can't because I'm putting garage doors in a brown door for a brown door. And so I'm going to just put them in at day 46. I'm going to put them in, and they're going to come after me, and I'm going to just hand them the bylaws and say, too bad, so sad. Here's my attorney's card. Give them a call. And so I probably shouldn't do that because then they're going to get me on something else. But that's the plan. Let's see. Would you rather get attacked by a bear or a shark? Probably a shark. A shark would probably kill you instantly. In your most recent Tesla drive and chat, you mentioned the Pirelli tires had foam substance in them. Do all tires from Tesla ship that way? I don't know. So there's basically a foam block. Maybe some of you Tesla nerds can cue us in on this. It's funny. I don't know jack about that car. In fact, when I was in the video, when you're doing the drive cam or the dash cam on the car, it has a little red dot next to it. I thought the red dot meant it wasn't working. I mean, wouldn't that make logical sense? This red means stop or means it's not working. And so I finally read the instructions. I got into the digital manual. Red means it's on. Green means it's saved, like it's saving. And it only goes green for a second. So this whole time, the darn dash cam was working. I thought it was broken. But the Tesla tires have a foam block that's glued to the inside of the tire, and that's clearly there to help with sound and noise. But obviously that adds a bunch of weight, and you don't want that. Can we start on time just once? I think we did last week, didn't we? Yeah, I'll get to Watt Match on the phone. I promise that was worthwhile for you. I'm making deals for you. Yeah, see, Matt on the phone making $1 million deals. Let's see. Why did Larry get Rupes Polisher deal? He went direct. I didn't know that Rupes would even do something like that. I never even thought to ask him. Maybe I should have. I'm sure Larry's had this idea in his head for a long time, so I'm sure that he'd planned on making a custom polisher forever. Rupes had done that years ago for their first SEMA show. Dylan went and had a bunch of polishers custom done, and that's where we all got the idea. So it's probably all Dylan's idea. And then I just went to my buddies at IND because they have the same style that I have. And so I went there, and it's just we thought it could be simple, and it's really not. It's a really complicated process, and that's probably why they only decided to do 100 of them. And I tried to do it too quickly. So I was just doing it on my own, not through Rupes. And so I'm sure Dylan, through Rupes Corporate's probably come up with a way. He probably saw that we sold a bunch of them, said maybe this is a viable thing to do. And so I don't know if it's something, Larry's considerably bigger than me, obviously, and he's had a long-standing relationship with longer than I have with Rupes, and so it makes sense that they would do something like that with him. I think it's pretty cool. I'd buy one, but I probably couldn't get one from him because they're probably sold out already. So anyway, but we talked about the T-Max doors and that fight. It's funny, Matt. Please call me back. I have a question on a coupler. So last night, it was like 6 o'clock, 5:50 or something like that, and Bryce and I were still here. Tommy and I were still here. Tommy had just left, and I picked up the phone. It's someone from Chicago, and I said, Bryce, watch this. This is going to be a garden hose coupler, and it was a garden hose coupler. I've changed my tune on this whole thing. You're going to hear me talk about this differently. You know how I've been saying, just don't freaking call. And that's still the case. But here's the reason why. And I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. In the beginning, it was just me. I was the only one who had this information. So for me to have my phone number out there, there's no way I could do everything I was doing, make the videos, write the descriptions, take the photos, build the products, make sure it's shippable, work on the website, work on the YouTube channel, answer questions, take photos for Instagram, do all the projects I'm doing for the videos, do everything. Eventually started hiring some people, and even still, the thing has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more tasks. And so I've stayed away from having a phone because the person that's answering the phone is not going to know the answer to your question. So what's the point of that? So rather than me getting angry and talking about don't talk on the phone or we're not talking to you on the phone, it has nothing to do with that. I want to talk to everybody. I really enjoy it. So the guy who called about the garden hose fitting, he said, I've got a Ferrari. He's got probably like a 488 or something. He probably has a 488 Pista or something crazy. And he's got a Porsche. And he bought a garden hose fitting, and it's not fitting, it's not connecting. Well, he bought a MTM garden hose plug and a Prevost coupler, and it doesn't. He's like, it doesn't fit. And so he was a super nice guy, and I was busting his chops. But I basically told him, I said, look, the reason why we don't have a phone is there are 4 people. Tommy. Well, Daniel's working on it, but Daniel's new, and he's working on acquiring the knowledge. Tommy, Jeff, Daniel, and Manny. There's 4 people in the world that have the body of information that they have, and they have a bigger body of information than I do. I know more about what's coming. They know more about all the little intricate details and problems, and because you guys, the people buying this stuff, have a really great ability to screw things up, and so they've seen it screwed up every way possible, so their body of knowledge is pretty significant. And so the reason why we don't have a phone is we need to organize this. So you got to schedule time for these guys. You want the information that we have. Nobody else has it. We want to give it to you, but we have to do it in a timely manner. Because if I hire a bunch of $10 an hour call center type people, they're not going to know the answer to these really sophisticated things. It'll take Daniel, a year plus to compile even a fraction of what Tommy's gathered in the year or so that he's been here. So and they have to try to keep up with me, and I'm a freaking psychopath, just nonstop of creating more havoc for them. And so we have to schedule that, and we have a very sophisticated system of scheduling it and answering, questions for people. And so that's the idea of why and how I'm going to kind of change this. Super Chat, $10. Shaz29 says, what's the reason for using sealed subs in your home theater? Would an open concept room like yours perform better with ported subs? I was going to do ported for my living room, but I'm conflicted. I'd say almost always do sealed for home theater. I'm sorry, ported for home theater. The reason why I did sealed that I didn't have any room. I didn't have enough room to put them. And so rather than doing my own custom full Marty, full Marty is they have like templates online that you can use to build your sub, or there's some kits where people will CNC the wood or route the wood and with nice clear crisp corners, and then all you have to do is glue it together. But you would want a full Marty ported enclosure, or you want to do like a JTR ported sub. Of course, my 4000 ULF JTR was ported. But when you have a ported enclosure, you need more airspace. You need a larger enclosure, and that's the only reason I did sealed. But generally speaking, I prefer ported. But for musically, a sealed sub tends to be a little quicker, a little faster moving, but you could overcome that with more amplification. So it really just depends on the sub. Like all my Dynaudio subs are sealed, and I love how they sound. But for home theater, it's easier, it's cheaper to go ported. Let's see, Spencer and Matt, did you see my Instagram DM about being a Uniden distributor? I have all the information on it. Would you do it or not? Yeah, I'm likely going to do radar detectors in the future. I just haven't gotten to it. My friends at Blend Mount have connected me with everybody. I'm sure we could buy them. I would probably convince Ariel at Vortex to work with me, and I could send him a percentage of the sales, so he would do affiliate marketing because he doesn't want to do the distribution part of it. It's on the docket, and certainly we'd start with all the cars that I have and stock blend mounts and mirror taps and hardwire kits and do videos and stuff like that. But there's a lot more profitable stuff because radar detectors don't have a lot of margin, and so I would get into that a little later in the future, I think. But it is something I do want to do. Let's see, going back to the top here. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so when I was on the phone with that guy, he had a Ryobi pressure washer. I said, hold on, back up. Because he just rifled right through it. Yeah, I'm putting this plug on my, I don't know how we talked about some cars. You were talking about, yeah, I've got a Ferrari and a Porsche. And then he went into, yeah, this plug doesn't fit. And I just screwed it into my Ryobi. And I said, hold on. And he kept going, back up. What you need to do right this instant, and for some reason I can pull this off. Send me a picture of your Amex of the back of it, and let me just get you set up here because you can't be rocking this garbage. Then he told me he had new age cabinets, and I was like, oh gosh, what is going on? What has the world come to? So I said, next time you call me, there's $100,000 purchase minimum. So I thought that was kind of funny. Another question, Brando123B, super chat, $5. Thank you, sir. This is how you get my attention. You pay me money. Thinking about Panamera 4S or Tesla Model S. What would your opinion be on these two? I'd probably say Model S over. I just don't like the look of the Panamera. The reason why I've never really considered the Taycan, or however you say it. Tesla, the electric car is about the tech, and I want the tech, and I would guess that the range is much better. Just everything about it. The batteries are better, the tech is better, the interface is better. Yes, the build quality is certainly going to be better on the Porsche, but it's also a new Porsche, so I think that I would choose the Model S for sure. The new Model S I think looks way better than the Panamera. Panamera is an acquired taste that I've never acquired, but I would definitely choose the Tesla out of those two if you're asking me, which you did. So we talked about that. Let's see. Call me back. A question on a coupler. Hey, Matt, what brake pads, rotors do you have run on your E92? I'm looking to cut out the ridiculous brake dust, but don't want to sacrifice performance. If you got a bunch of money and you're willing to buy new wheels, you could do F80. I&D sells a bracket to convert your E92 to F80 carbon ceramics, which is about $12,000 to do that. If you don't want to spend that much, I have Brembo, the Brembo stock GT pads, and then the Brembo Type 3 rotors. And the dust is not bad at all. Way better than stock. Let's see here. Really glad you can't turn it on. Oh, a closed captioning. It would show his text. Yeah, good call. Let's see. Oh yeah, they said I was securing a C8 on the phone. Talking to the Drice man. Can we talk about loan sharking customers? I like loan sharking stuff. It's a good thing to do. Let's see, where are we at here? What did your mom and dad think of your career move? Yeah, my mom and dad would let me do anything. I'm sure they were nervous when because they were moving here to work for me and thought I had like a guaranteed income coming from my other business. And this was just this would have been, so no matter what, I'd always be able to pay their salary. Well, when the day they moved here, I said, oh, by the way, I got fired. That was, I'm sure, pretty dicey, but they would never tell me. I want the turtle wax car featured in the Monterey video. I'm sure he's probably talking about the turtle wax car at Monterey. What a joke. Can you rant about checkered garage floors? Oh, I've got a good one for you. I hope this guy doesn't listen. I'm sure he doesn't. So, for whatever reason, this week I've gotten a rash of calls of, and almost all of them about couplers, quick disconnects and couplers this week, at least 5 of them. And for whatever reason, I was feeling real charitable this week, probably out of scarcity and survival. I'm deathly afraid that we're going to run out of stock and go out of business. That's my current worry this week. And so I've been picking up the phone when people call. And sometimes, like, I haven't gotten a single call today, but I keep getting calls from people who are savvy Google searchers, and they find my number. Oh, hey, Matt, this is Obsessed Garage. I didn't know it was you. So they so he calls and he says, "Oh, but I'm looking at." So he tried to get in with me by saying he was looking at getting a garage designed and the work of my garage designer. He's like, "Your garage designer isn't working." So I'm like, "Oh man, shoot, our page isn't working." Well, we don't have a garage designer. We have a garage design page to hire our garage designer, which is Kyle. But anyway, he's like, "Yeah, it's not working." But on a side note, I've got this company. Oh crap, I can't remember what it's called. But he sells rugs for the garage, and you know me and rugs in the garage. It's about the same as putting a couch in the garage. It's nonsense. So he's convinced, somebody, said, "You've got to talk to the Obsessed Garage guy, get your rugs in Obsessed Garage." And so it's super nice guys from Minnesota, like salt of the earth that you can tell, just really nice. I had no interest in insulting, but I also am not doing a freaking rug in my garage. And and so generally when people want to sell me something, it had to have been something I already wanted. Otherwise, I'm generally not interested. But sometimes some people have turned me on to something that I may not have had an interest in. But a rug is certainly not one of them. So they make chrome stamped like Corvette signs and Mercedes emblems and stuff like that are selling like hotcakes, which I'm sure they are, and rugs. So I'm trying to nicely tell him, like, so my first question is, so let me get this straight. Let's say I have a BMW M3 and I've got a GT3 RS in my garage. So I've got a few coins to scratch together. Why do I need, I've got the car, so why do I need an emblem of my car on the wall? Like, why do you guys need that? Why do you guys insist upon doing this stuff? You need to stop this business. It's crazy. Why would I want a neon Coors Light sign to advertise that I drink Coors Light? It's just weird. Now I'm saying that when I have an Obsessed Garage logoed shirt on, so I understand there's a hypocritical nature to this whole conversation. But I was just asking, why would I want a rug with a weird-looking caricature of my car? Well, the car's sitting right there. What do I need the rug for? Is it for when the car's not when I'm out driving? But then I'm not in there. I'm not going to see the rug. Is it for like the cleaning lady, which the cleaning lady is not allowed in my garage? He says, well, we're doing more garage parlors. And I'm just, I threw up a little bit in my mouth, but I was still being nice. Like I was just asking, like, who wants this stuff? He's like, well, I'm telling you, Matt. It's like, this is a big thing. Like, lots of people want this, and I get it. I know it. And then he started talking about, and another thing that's really popular is these guys, they get these antique gas pumps, and I'm like, oh gosh, what? So anyway, I at the end of it, he says, well, why don't we do this? What if I just came in and hung this beautiful rug on your wall? I forget what his name was. It was Jim. If you did that and I saw that, I would have it ripped off the wall inside of 12 seconds. I didn't care if the wall came down with it. My employees have done some funny crap like that to me before and doing some weird stuff. And I darn near ready to freaking kill someone. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. It's like these chrome stamped Mercedes emblems are selling like hotcakes. So yeah. Colin, another $9.99. Wow, big spender today. I like that, Colin. Keep it coming. Hey, I ordered a stubby last week when it was announced. I haven't gotten it yet. What gives? You just wasted $10. I'm going to punch you in the digital face. Punch you, just flicking the throat. Give you a little, those little slaps right to the you-know-what. Get out of here. I actually talked to David this morning about it. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Somewhere November to January, February, something like that. I appreciate the joke. Greg Hansel, $15. Greg, question right there. I purchased the active VE52 and love it. What is the VE52 the one we have? I forget. I don't remember the model number. I've noticed that the motorcycle on and off after 10 minutes of use. I think you mentioned it's air in the system. No, we figured out what it is. Tommy just didn't tell me what it is. He knew it, and he forgot to tell me. So the who's frickin' calling me? Get out of here. Let's see. Someone's probably calling me right now. Face ID. Come on. It'd be funny. I'd take one on the phone. It's probably some of you douchebags calling me right now. Shoot. So the active pressure washer is calibrated and designed to hold 1800 psi in idle. And so when you have a 25-foot hose, it's the I guess, I don't know if it's digitally, but the wobble, the way the plate is designed to be positioned. I'm probably not saying this correctly. Let's just forget what's going on inside. What's happening is the pressure washer is designed to hold a constant 1800 psi, and then when you pull the trigger, it releases that. Some pressure washers, when I tested them, they had to build pressure, so those had a delay, and some of them have instant pressure. Well, the pressure washers will hold that pressure, basically just locking pressure in place, so the wobble plate stops and holds it. Well, that's designed to be 1800 psi, and so what's happening is when we're lengthening the hose, it's looking for that pressure build, and apparently Active did some testing, and the pressure drops to like 1600, and so then the internal circuitry is kicking on the pump to get it to repressurize, even though it really doesn't need to, and that's because of the length of the hose. And so most of them aren't having a problem, but some of them are. And if it's doing it dramatically, Active has stepped up to the plate. These guys are freaking awesome, and said, look, we'll replace it. And so they knew that we were going to have some R&D and some issues along the way as we're figuring things out. And so they replaced it. So we knew it was something pretty simple. But I think if yours is only doing it periodically, it may come and go. But if it starts to build up and do it more and more, just go hit us up and we'll get your replacement. Let's see. So let's go back here. John asks, "How's your knee? Are you back in the gym?" Yeah, I think it's okay. I probably have a slight meniscus tear because sometimes I can feel it. I still feel nervous squatting and doing some weird crap, but I feel like it's getting better, even though a meniscus doesn't really heal. So hopefully it was just a sprain or something. But I am back sort of in the gym, and I'm just gonna figure out a new program. Well, apparently I didn't go back to the top here. Gosh, you guys have a lot of questions today. This is good. I didn't know if I was going to have enough to talk about, which is not usually a problem of mine. Let's see. These were all still questions before we even started. Reading lips is easy. What was I saying then? Where's the Ego Stubby YouTube account? Okay, let's see. Matt, what's your opinion on the C8 taillights? Anything about the C8 is a hunk of garbage. So, it's probably, I don't even know what they look like, but they probably look stupid. Let's see. Okay, let's get to where we actually went live. Welcome to live chat. Matt, you aren't the only one who hates the E46, ugliest car ever made. See, that's where I disagree. The E46 I think looks fantastic. I love how that car looks. I just hate how it drives and hate how it sounds. But we're going to try to fix that. If we can't fix it, luckily there are many of you that do love the E46. I'm going to do a giveaway on it. But we're going to rip the roof off and dial this thing in and make it awesome. No AMG. The day that AMG makes a legitimate transmission would be the day that I might consider it. I don't want to deal with some herky-jerky, crappy automatic. So I have no interest in any AMG car at all. So AMG versus a C8, two stupid cars that I don't want. I saw an Instagram story testing the KWS 700. When is that video coming out? It should be up today, tomorrow, Monday, something like that. So we did shoot it. It should be available. What I did, this is going to get me in trouble. I tested the AR675 Pro, which I'll tell you the story behind that. The Sunjo 9004 Pro and 9006 Pro, which are hunks of crap. No, 4004 Pro, which has nothing pro about it. It's just a 4000 that they call the Pro. It's not really a Pro, or not like their other Pro line of stuff, which isn't Pro either. And then the 9006 Pro, which is a hunk of crap. The Adams Pro. And then just for the fun of it, to embarrass the others, with, of course, I'm doing, drawing 23 amps from that thing, the KWS 700, and it did 3.3 gallons a minute at 1200 psi. It's freaking gnarly. So we're about to do a KWS 1200 in a garage at the end of this month that we're going to do a video series on that you're going to freaking love. So let's see. So no issues with the TRS to XLR conversion on the Apollo. Nope, no issues. Sounds great. So on the Apollo, if you're going to connect like a set of Dyne Audio like L88s or any kind of studio monitor self-powered speaker with XLR in, you have to go 1/4 inch. Think big fat headphone jack. 1/4 inch is the output on the back of the Apollos, the little volume control thingy, and you convert TRS to XLR, and it works great. Let's see, kind of roll down. How's the Cree lighting solution? We already talked about that. We talked about auto driving. We talked about the autonomous vehicle issues. Let's see, Gabriel Muniz. Gabriel. I'm about to wash the car for the first time using Karcher Cube and using kit from your website. Excited to get to work using it. Yeah, I think you'll like it. It works pretty well. Let's see. Would you ever start a statewide east to west coast mobile detailing company? Never in your life would I ever do a mobile detailing gig. At least, God willing, knock on something, because those guys work their face off and sweat their balls off. I'm not going to be in the mobile detailing or hopefully any professional detailing realm ever. I certainly could turn on right this minute a mobile fleet here, even just locally, and I could turn on a detailing company right this minute and build a team and do $1 million a year in revenue or something like that. Instantly. People would ship cars from all over the country. We would do OG spec detailing. I just don't want to. It would be such a distraction. It's way easier. It would be a lot less work for me to launch a new product or develop a new product line and do that same $1 million in revenue much, much easier. It'd be much more fun for me. The only thing that intrigues me about building a detailing labor business would be for the R&D, for the ability to test things. But I don't want to have to deal with the labor, with the people, both customers and the people. Spencer says, Matt, did you take the jab? I didn't. I got COVID, and so now it wouldn't make sense for me to get it. But the reason why is I'm deathly afraid of doctors. Because I would instantly pass out as soon as I got jabbed with the needle, and so I want to avoid it. So I don't have any political stance one way or the other. You can do whatever you want to frickin' do. I don't care. But I'm going to avoid it if I can because I don't want to get a needle. I'm afraid of that. So, and it's not, I'm making light of this. This is like my life's curse. So, and then you inject something into me, and then I'm going to start obsessing about that. This is a new thing, and am I dying because of that? It would just be a total disaster. So I'd rather roll the dice, and I'm fine. So we're going to skip that. How's the Cadillac Super Cruise going to compete against the Tesla? It's probably going to suck balls, so you don't want to buy that junk. Who wants a GM electric car? Certainly not me. It's like, get out of here. No way. The Hummer's probably going to be a hunk of crap. They're trying to do this. They're such goofs. They're not an original thought in GM. Like, we're going to make the Hummer, which is something old. We can't make something new. We're going to take something old, and then we're going to make it electric, and we're going to pretend like we're actually going to make it. But it probably will never come out. We're going to just take $100 deposits from everybody, and we're going to say it's coming out 2023, but they haven't actually made anything that's really going to work. So yeah, no thanks. Maybe I missed it, but is there any update on the OG cabin? There is not. I was actually just talking to my financial advisor, who I try to avoid at all costs. I don't want to talk to him and say, here's my freaking money, leave me alone. I did it for 15 years. I don't want to do it. You do it. Don't call me. Don't bother me. Just manage the money. And but he insists upon calling me. And I also told him to call me to have me send him money, because I don't want to do that. I mean, think about this. I want to do Cree Lighting, and it's probably going to cost me $300,000 or $400,000 to build inventory in Cree Lighting versus giving my financial advisor $300,000 or $400,000 to invest in something basic. Or even if I did something stupid like go out and buy some blockchain or something dumb like that, or like do some passive investment that I have zero interest in. I'm not saying blockchain is dumb. I'm saying it would be dumb for me to go and get into rentals, right? And so I have a hard time with sending him money, because if I buy $400,000 worth of Cree and then I turn that 3 or 4 times in a year at a 30 or 40% margin, you do the math. I don't know what the compounded rate of return of that is in a year, but it's a lot versus making, or possibly losing. The cabin idea, so what I was talking to him about, or the OG, Destination OG, we're still proceeding. We're going to build the website. Our friend Matt Reeves is kind of working on that on the side for us, and Grice is kind of tinkering with it. We'll speed that up once I get a place, but the problem is not so much, like, I don't think like real estate is going to plummet. People assume that the next pullback is like the first pullback, which is very unlikely. I don't think it's ever happened historically. And so you aren't very likely to see a real estate collapse or even significant sell-off, even if there's an economic downturn. We would see some supply-demand adjusted differences in real estate. We may see softening in asking prices, because asking prices aren't necessarily what sales prices are. And we're in a really significant cash market right now, from what I can tell, where cash is buying most of these properties and paying up for them. So appraisals aren't really a factor in this. But I think there aren't any houses that I want. So the houses that you want aren't really for sale. The houses that are $2 million houses being sold for $5 million. And so I'm just not comfortable with purchasing now. We found that one house that I made an offer on, but we were $600K apart. And I just didn't want to take that risk. It appraised for what I offered, and I offered $100K over appraisal. And, you could argue the appraisal wasn't correct, but whatever. I don't want to get upside down right off the bat. And so plus I didn't want to come up with cash. I'd rather have that cash available for a Black Friday sale. And so, and I don't want to sell stuff and pay tax on, because I have significant capital gains on pretty much everything that I own, because we've had this boom the last several years. So the smart thing to do is to wait. and wait for I think what will likely happen is we'll have a change in the amount of homes for sale. I don't really I think it sounds stupid when you're calling homes inventory. That's kind of dumb, but homes being available, I think, is going to be significantly different a year or two from now, and there will be possibly more homes that I may be interested in. Plus, I've decided to build my house here, and I don't want to take the risk of doing both. I just told you I'm nervous that the supply chain is going to melt us all down. Do you have any suggestion on a smaller 8-ounce spray bottle? There isn't a good one. You're going to have to do a Tolco something or other, and they're all terrible. Hey, Matt, any update on OG HQ UK? UK would be after Canada. I think I'd try to do that next, and then we'd probably have to do, because of Brexit, we'd probably have to do a UK or a OG Europe as well, maybe in Germany or something like that. But I would like to do that in the next 3 years. Would be my sort of, I'm just making up numbers, but that would be when I'd like to have that there. So I think that the hope would be we'd be in Canada sometime next year. And start to figure out the logistics of that, and then go to the UK and take what I'm owed, in giving people the OG resource that they're looking for. I do appreciate all of you that do pay the shipping and have us ship it over there. Captain Awesome says, saw this on Facebook. Any truth? ? Can you put the right Mosmatic coupler on a Cobra Jet hose if you order the OG gun and Cobra Jet together, rather than me having to order a $50 Mosmatic coupler separately? No, you've got to buy the coupler. We can put it on for you if you just shoot us an email ahead of time and just have us an invoice. But we're not giving you a Mosmatic coupler instead of a MTM coupler, if that's what you're asking. No, you pay more for it. You pay $50 for that. You pay whatever the hose is, and then we put it on there for you if you don't have the tools to do it. Matt, can you look at date on my lamb chops? I don't know what that means. Can you look at date on my lamb chops? I don't know what that means. Would you buy a supercar other than a Porsche? I really want an NSX. And actually, I don't really like the Type S. So my next car is probably going to be an NSX. My next car will hopefully be a 911 GT3 Touring in some sort of custom paint-to-sample color. But I don't know. Ooh, super chat. Come on here. Let me go back down to the bottom here. Colin. Oh, Colin's got some serious jack here today. Let's see if this question follows. He hasn't mastered the art of, you put the comment in the super chat. We'll come back to you, Colin, when I see the comments. So let me go back up here to the top. Any updated thoughts of warehouse in Canada? We just talked about that. Matt, this is MJG. Hey, wait, oh shoot, I didn't go up high enough. Sorry. Let's see. I have a microfiber. Oh, what are your thoughts on the release Pandora papers? I don't know what that is either. This is what I need Chris for, because he looks this stuff up for me. Let's see. I have. So this is Shaz29 again. He says I have microfiber yellow and white pads for my 5 and 3-inch Rupes polishers. Is wool worth getting? Yes, it is. If you tinker with or if you do test spots and figure out what's working, it's a good thing to have. Certain paints it just does really well on. I will get my Nano on Black Friday. Which wool pad should I get for my 3 combined polishers? You want the blue and the yellow wool, and you want them in each size. No guarantees. I doubt that Rupes will be on sale on Black Friday. It'll just be free shipping. So I don't think they'll be on sale, but I don't know. The reason why I don't think they will is because they don't have a lot of supply. And they did let us do it. They didn't let us do it last year, but they did let us do it the year before, where they released or let go of MAP. But Rupes is very specific, very strict on pricing, which I really appreciate. I like that a lot. Matt, planning to build my first home. Me too. We'll start by building a lofted garage with an apartment above it, then build the house later and use the apartment as an in-law suite. Thoughts? So we said we will start by building a lofted garage with an apartment above, okay, then build the house later and use the apartment. Yeah, the only disadvantage to doing that is then you're kind of limiting yourself on ceiling height. But I actually prefer a ceiling height like 12 feet. I think is perfect. Oh, shoot, Siri, get out of here, Siri. So I think that I don't think there's much to it. You got to figure out how to get the stairwell there without messing up your rectangle. I'm a stickler is that my garage needs to be a rectangle. No bump outs, no bathrooms jutting into it, no stairwells, none of that junk in the middle of my garage. I don't want that. I need 4 square straight walls. That's what I need. And so that would be my one requisite is how am I going to get up there? And hopefully it would be stairs that are on the outside of the building, not the inside. Let's see. What if some pedestrian in a crosswalk gets killed by someone with full whatever driving? He didn't sign up to be in that beta test. Well, I mean, I would think the odds of that running someone over versus you for most people is probably similar. Do you think you guys, or actually would be higher that you would run them over versus the computer? But what do I know? Do you think you guys could make a K1322 TS repair kits that include everything we need? As a mobile detailer, I want to have all the parts in case I need repair. Yes, that's a good idea. We will do that. Not tomorrow, but we'll do that. I like that idea. I'm still waiting for the day when Matt comes out with a plan to build OG spec pressure washer from the ground up. We'll do that someday too, I bet. We're actually kind of working on that on the low end with Active, but James and I have been kind of working on that. That's the plan. So our teams are working together to modify and improve the one that exists, then come out with a modified, improved, and manufactured version of that, so a new version, and then we'll go from there. I got to go back down to Colin's super chat here. Colin says, when's the PP cap for the power washer set to be back in stock? The guy who makes them, I'm going to have to find a new resource. So I'm putting a lot of weight on Mike Figueroa when he gets here, but Mike's going to figure out how do we get those made, where do we get them made, and we're going to get them manufactured ourselves, because it's not that I want to steal it from him. It was his idea, but we just can't make them. Like, we can't get them. So I have no idea. Greg Hansel, $10. Thank you, sir. Matty, recommendations on in-wall speakers. My house is already pre-wired and ready for solid speakers. So it depends. So 2 brands that I love. Sonance is like the standard in-wall stuff, and they have some way cool stuff where Sonance is, I forget what the model is. You can look it up. It's like V series or something like that. But the cool thing about Sonance, especially if you probably didn't pre-wire for this, but if you were going to like do your kitchen, Sonance's belief is that, and they're right about this, that you wouldn't have just a pair of speakers in the ceiling. That you would have distributed. So if you're doing truly distributed audio, you would want anywhere in the room. So you'd want more like 3D type audio throughout. And so they have a bunch of small little 4-inch drivers that you would put 10 or 12 of them in a room, depending on how big the room is, and then you would do separate subwoofers with they have like another, it's like a little tube that looks just like all the other speakers. So you have all these little pinpoint speakers that then creates this sort of spatial, I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I'm saying, this immersive sound from the ceiling. Plus they make some great just regular old in-walls. And then I love the Dynaudio stuff. If you have deep cavities, you can do Studio Series. If you don't, you can do the the P Series. We have the P Series in stock. We have the Studio Series in stock. I really, really like them because they have that Dynaudio signature sound that I'm so in love with. I have the Studio S4 C80s. I have the 8-inch ones in my living room. They're freaking fantastic. I'm going to put the same ones on my back patio above my Evo. The Evo's going in probably next week or maybe the following. All right, back to the top. If you need help with that, just email me and I can help you figure out speakers. Matt, just wondering why you don't use G-Technic C2V3. I just don't like it. It's okay. It doesn't add anything to the look. Like, it doesn't look any different. So I think that the OG version of the Slipstream and Beadmaker have added something from a look perspective. And that's why I've always liked those over like Reload and C2V3. C2V3 isn't particularly difficult to deal with, or Reload can be. But or at least it was a lot in the past. We talked about OG Canada. What's the best car wash shampoo product that gives us the best results? That's GSF, no question. Love it. So go to obsessgarage.com, get Kosh Chemi GSF. Let's see. So the Porsche driving experience is going to be on a different level than the Tesla. When we were talking about the Tesla in the past. Any update on the Ford Transit? Should be here in about 3 weeks or so. We got a blue one. What is it? I think it's lightning blue. We got the 3.5 liter EcoBoost. It's a twin turbo V6. We got that version. Maybe we'll do a tune on it and make it faster. No caller ID. Get out of here. What's the best product for suede headliners? You got to be careful with that. But it would be, it'd be nothing if you can help it. I think a lot of detailers would tend to use just like distilled water, but I don't know. I don't know. I would probably use some Sonax Alcantara cleaner, but I understand that's not a good idea. I don't clean my headliner, so you'd probably want to talk to some guys who really specialize in interiors to figure that out. Not sure if I missed it, but you keep hearing referencing Mike's when Mike gets there. Is Mike going to work for you full time? Yes. So Mike Figuera is coming to work for OG. His son is already here. Trevor is working. You've seen him on the vlogs on inside the Hex in the warehouse. He's here. He's picking and just doing kind of a little bit of everything. So Trevor's here. Mike is in the process of moving. He's actually on his way out here this weekend. He's making his second drive across the country with he got a 24-foot trailer filled with his stuff. He bought a house here in Ocala, and so Mike's moving and going to work here full time and help me take over the world. So obviously Mike's been a staple on the channel and is going to probably take over the channel for me, it seems. But we are going to do so much freaking cool stuff. It's going to be incredible. First thing we're going to do is all these things that I keep getting jank done by other contractors. He and I are going to do it. We're going to video it. We're going to do a lot of the stuff in my new house that we're building. We're going to do, and then we're going to develop a lot of products, and manufacture a lot of things where he'll fabricate things. And like I'm talking about a deionizing system I want to build. We're going to build systems for our custom install to make that simpler. And we're really going to chase a lot of different things with him. It's going to be freaking sick. Let's see. Dreisman talked about using a desiccant dryer for your compressed air system to work well with the Dryas Evo. Does a dryer like AirRev, is he talking about a dryer like AirRev? No, that's a refrigerated dryer. A refrigerated dryer is different than a desiccant dryer. It depends on how much water you have and what your ambient humidity is like. A refrigerated dryer really only works in an air-conditioned space well. And even then, a lot of times it can't keep up like a desiccant dryer is. So the best combo would be to do both. Refrigerated into desiccant, and so we're going to have, he has this really slick, if you go follow Dreisman on Instagram, I don't know if it was a story or a post or both, but we have, he has a desiccant dryer that'll be in the OG store here soon. It's incredible. It's this tiny little cylinder. It looks super sleek. I'll have one here next door here soon as well. Someone calling me from Eustis. Should we answer the phone? I think we'll leave it. If it was somewhere out of town, maybe I'd answer it on the podcast. The rug in my car has a logo on it of a car that I'm driving. That's a good point. He probably has a Corvette. Let's see. Matt, are you going to do a Raptor wash and talk soon? The Raptor, I have tires coming. So the Raptor's going to get a full series coming up, probably after we do the garage up in Atlanta. So November, full Raptor series. Maybe I'll convince the moderators are coming down for Moderators Weekend. Maybe I'll convince them we'll do a full Raptor correction, Raptor overhaul. We'll put new tires on. We can learn how to do that together. I think that could be kind of fun. We'll ask them. I don't know how much labor the guys want to do this time around, but the moderators are coming to hang out for 3 or 4 days for a long weekend. What's happening with the GT3 Touring? Nothing. I have my deposit in. I'm still got the first spot at my dealership and just waiting on my buddies at Porsche of Wilmington in North Carolina. Tom Walsh and the team up there. Hopefully he can get me one. Matt, when do you think car prices will go back to normal? They will when recession happens, which who knows? We're 11 years in, no recession. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But you would think at some point. Hey, Matt, any updates? So this is Jonathan gives me another super chat here. Let me make sure I'm not missing other ones. I missed his super chat. I'm sorry. Jonathan Hernandez says, when's warehouse in Canada? Again, I want to be there yesterday, but we're probably looking at now. My new target is probably end of June next year. But two things are going to dictate that: supply chain and when Canada decides to open up. And just said I'm not vaccinated, so I can't come there. By then, we'll probably recognize that we'll know more data. Does the vaccine work or not work, kind of thing. I'm not debating that, but we'll have some more empirical evidence and data, and then maybe I'll just pass out and get jabbed in the arm, or lay on the ground and close my eyes or something like that and get it done. So I don't know. Or maybe they'll just let us in and I don't have to mess around with any of that bull crap. That's what I'm hoping. Will you try for a 992 GT3 RS allocation? Would you pay over a sticker to get one? I will not pay over a sticker, so I probably will not get one. And I'm going to keep mine, and so I'd probably skip the 992 and maybe try to get a 992.2 or whatever comes out in the future, the refresh of it. I've got an Esterol Blue on Cinnamon E46, and it's absolutely beautiful, but it sucks to drive. I prefer my E92. Yeah, why didn't you guys tell me this? No one told me this. I wouldn't have listened to you anyway, so it doesn't matter. Will you consider supercharging the E36? I don't think so. Why did Brett block you? That's because he was remember he talked trash on dry ice, and then he bought one. He's talking trash on dry ice, and he bought one. And he bought one from somewhere in Germany or somewhere overseas. So he circumvented the system, so he doesn't have a warranty on the machine. And then he made that dealer he bought it from ended up having to pay us and all this crap. But yeah, the guy's a douche. He's just a freaking crybaby. He doesn't like it. He's been doing this failure to launch E36 stuff his whole life. I don't know him, never met him. He was super nice, and then all of a sudden just went nutty. So maybe he was only being nice because he was trying to use me or something, and realized that I'm not usable. Who knows? But it's freaking weird. So I didn't know this, but everybody's sending me to him. Why is this guy posting about dry ice? I thought he didn't like it. I said, I don't know. And so I just let Scott deal with them. So it's pretty funny. How do you reward employees for success of the business without giving them a sense of entitlement? I have no idea how to do that. We're going to create, I've done subjective, which I hate, bonuses. Whenever I felt like I had fell in a little flush, felt like I owe everybody some money, I've done several different bonuses or bonused out employees. And then, of course, many of them have gotten raises since, merit-based raises or title-based raises, which, again, I'm just making it all up. What we're hoping to transition to in the future is to transition to having profit centers. So the next step is to have each department head develop a budget. Get out of here, people. I'm going to turn my phone over. Is to have a budget. Each department has their own budget, and then they'll get an override or a bonus based on. So the leadership would get a bonus pool based on their budgeting and if they're profitable or they're not, and whether the bonus comes, and then they'll be able to have a bit more predictable bonusing schedule structure. Because the worst thing that can happen as a business owner is that you bonus everybody out, and then they just come to expect it, and then it's not a bonus, then it's part of their salary. Remember seeing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and Clark doesn't get the bonus, and then he, has a meltdown and goes and kidnaps the guy, the whole thing. So it's one of those things that, and plus, no one's been here for more than a couple of years, and so and most of the people that have been here, for a couple of years have all gotten multiple raises. And I don't know. You could talk to them yourselves on whether they feel like they're fairly compensated or not. Probably some do, some don't. But the goal is to all of us. I think we're in a This is the seminal moment for us with this supply chain issue. If we can figure this out and we can survive, I hope that we can kill it, and then I'll take care of everybody. And then they have to have faith, and maybe I won't take care of them from their perspective. Maybe I will, but it does me no good to screw anybody. So the goal is to take care of everybody and give them a shot. So let's see. Are you ever just happy and positive about something? I don't know if that's a jab at me or not. This is from Martin. I'm freaking happy all day, every day. I'm living the dream. I just don't speak like a freaking child. I speak like a grown-up. And so right now, in this tone of voice, I'm happy as can be. I'm doing what I love. But I don't dance around and do a dog and pony show and fake it. I just do me. This is what my face looks like. And so I'm happy and positive about every single product that I'm interested in. What I'm not happy about is a Ryobi pressure washer, having to test that. But I'm super grateful and excited that I get the opportunity to do that, and then I get to make a living by selling stuff that goes with it. What are your recommendations for in-wall speaker? Oh, we already did that one. The house is pre-wired. Hey, Matt, what do you think about PC computers and Android phones? You're always using Apple and Mac. I think PCs and Android is lazy. I don't think it's as refined. I think they hide behind the open architecture argument, and I have no interest. But I'm also not tinkering, and I want my computer to function. I want it to look great. I want it to last a long time, because I'm not writing code and doing stuff like that. I'm not networking. I just want to connect to Wi-Fi or have the highest speed possible on my really well done machine. And so I don't have any interest in that. And I want my phone to connect and work well with my MacBook. I want it to all be part of the same ecosystem. And I think Apple is freaking fantastic. So that's why. You would think with a lot of the prosumer stuff that I'm interested in, that maybe I would be on that side of the fence, but I'm not. Didn't you just describe Elon's business with Cough, Cybertruck, and Roadster? Yeah, this is talking about earlier. I think they'll make those, though. But he invented that business plan. GM's just copying the bogus business plan. So get your own fake business plan. Elon's making it up. Why do you have to copy his? Triple garage, single depth, or double tandem garage? Definitely triple single depth. Definitely. If you had COVID, then you don't want the jab due to natural antibodies. I don't want to get into that because it will start a whole frickin' disaster. I don't give a crap one way or the other. I'm just living my life while everybody else does whatever they want. Or doesn't get to do whatever they want. We're doing what we want. That's why Florida, we got lucky. We're in Florida, haven't really skipped a beat. We had a little scare there when a bunch of us got it, but it's inevitable, and we just kept moving. Let's see. Are we related to the guy from Cash Cab now? He's just another whitey English Irishman like me. Tips for someone done with their master's in engineering next year. Figure out what's your. I guess you don't have to figure it out. Just get a job and kill it. And don't be just an engineer. Try to figure out how to be a business person. Figure out how to manage people. Read things on leadership. Find a mentor. Be open to learning and using that skill set that you have to be able to do math so well. Because if you got through a master's of engineering anywhere, you're already very likely, you're probably not the smartest person in the room, but you have a practical sense and a practical smart that isn't practical in the sense of like with your hands. But you have an awareness generally if you can do mathematics at that level, and if you're able to get through that. So there's an advantage in that everybody that you ever apply for a job to automatically assumes you're smarter than them. So every business major, every MBA, they won't tell you this, but they'll assume that you're the smartest person that they've interviewed. for the job, even if you're not the smartest person. And there's a huge advantage in that, and you have to leverage that as much as you can. And I would urge you to not get stuck in the either academia. Don't get stuck in that and pursuing too much of that, unless it's just your pure passion. And then figure out what's your path to either owning your own engineering firm of whatever you're into. MEs generally aren't going to own their own firm like a civil would or something like that, or a structural engineer or something like that. But and then figure out your way to either start a business, own a business, be an executive at a business, because engineers can make great executives, especially taking the CFO path. If you really want to be a superhuman with all the engineering you have while you're getting your job, so no more just going to school. Make sure you have a job if you don't already. Go get and figure out accounting. Because then you can be a superhero. You could become a CFO real quickly and make frickin' zillions of dollars. That, I think, could be really, really powerful. Let's see. So what's Steve Nelms? When was that question? Oh, here we go. Yeah, sorry, Steven. I missed this. Hey, Matt, when you say get a better job, I'm a firefighter and think it's the best job in the world. I won't get rich doing this career. What would your advice be to me? Well, you have the easy gig, in that you work 24 on, 48 off, right? If you're like most firefighters. When I say easy gig, I don't mean easy gig. I mean you have an easy path to side hustling. That's what I meant to say. So you have this amazing ability that you're 24 on, and you're laser focused, and you probably have a lot of downtime depending on what town you're in. You're in a major city, maybe you don't, but you have a lot of downtime to do side hustling. It's kind of like, same thing. You guys are in the military. You have some downtime, or quite a bit of downtime, where you can be figuring out side hustling. So if firefighting is your passion, what other things could you do around that side hustle where you could make more doing your side hustle, because it wouldn't take much to beat what you're making as a firefighter. To make and set yourself up for life, set yourself up. So how can you take that passion you have for firefighting? You don't want to quit that job, and let's say instead of getting a better job, how can you amplify your job? Or maybe you would enjoy the variety of doing something different. I'm not a variety type person. I want to go narrow and deep. And so how could you go narrower and deeper if you love being a firefighter? Do you build a business where you're providing consulting, providing advice on some of the things you've seen? Maybe you can, what's so funny, like here in Florida, the fire marshal just shows up and he's like, give me a hard time, because he's like, well, have you registered with the city? I'm like, what does that even mean? How would I even know to do that? I have no idea how to do that. No business owner knows anything about any of this crap, unless you're just in the business of opening up new facilities in different areas. So, because I've gone up there up north, we went up to try to register the obsessed CrossFit, and they're like, well, you don't need to do that here. And then what does it even mean? I just moved into the building, got insurance, good to go. So apparently you're supposed to register. I'm like, with who? Whom am I supposed to register with? Who do I talk to? How do I do that? What does it cost? Why would I even want to do that? It's like, you should just know. I'm like, well, how am I going to know? So think about a consulting service where you keep me out of trouble. You go and you get business owners, and you teach them how to get registered with the county. You get there, make sure all their handicap nonsense is all set up. You figure out how all the other stuff, all the other code bull crap that you would never know how to do innately, because you have to remember, most business owners don't know jack. I'm throwing an idea at you. If you're passionate, you should know. But you need to think of supplemental income. How could I create some way? How am I going to market that? And then how can I do it to where it's not something that I would hate doing, and make it a job. So that's something that I think is interesting. And then Jake Angelo says, get out of debt and save. Ugh, yeah, that's for babies. You don't want to do that. You want to get in debt and make. So leverage, baby. That's the business owner's mentality. You leverage. You don't get into stupid debt. You don't run up a credit card. But how are you going to save when you're making 68 grand a year and you got 3 kids? It's not going to happen. So give up that pipe dream unless you're clipping coupons and becoming a hoarder of paper towels that you get at buy one get one free sales. Who the heck wants to live like that? I think the better way to do it is to figure out to leverage your talent, leverage your passion, and figure out a way to make it so that on those other 48 hours. Because I would guess, especially if you're young and hungry and you like doing what you're doing, you probably have a lot of energy. So working 7 days a week is not a big deal to you. Assuming that you're not in a high stress, PTSD driven type environment where you're doing some gnarly stuff. Because if you want money, you have to figure out how to go get it. And remember, money is just a result. So that's a great question. And so, when I say get a better job, those are people who are complaining about their job. You don't have to get one. You already got the better job. So now I think you just need to figure out how to supplement it, because they're never going to pay you enough to get what looks like are going to be your dreams. Unless you just save and wait till you're 58 years old and you might get an M3 someday. You don't want to do that. You want to escalate that, because especially if you're young, talented, and have energy, go figure out how to do it. Leverage your time and maybe borrow some money, like we talked about dry ice cleaning. You can make $200 or $300 grand doing that on the side. That'd be a great gig. And I'll finance you on that. Let's figure out how to get you a loan and you'll get paid off in 10 or 12 months. Spend a day, so what did Scott say? 2 days a week. You spend 2 days a week, you make a couple $100 grand, doing dry ice stuff. So maybe you do something like that. Figure out something that you really like. What happens when home prices come down? Why would they come down, Ken? They don't have to. Just because they did one time before doesn't mean they're going to again. And historically, they generally don't. Maybe they do, but it's unlikely that we're going to see some collapse. We don't have a debt-related crisis right now. What we have is a crisis of supply, and you usually never see it coming. Otherwise, we were all stocked up. Let's see. Did you see Larry's 1500 custom Rupes polisher or LHR 15? How much is it? Larry's polisher. I haven't even looked at it. Oh my God, this format is the best. Please, can Chris do something else Fridays? Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I thought this sounds like a train wreck. I haven't even gotten to my Facebook and Instagram questions. I'm going fast here. I'm trying to catch up. This is me wanting to win and beat the questions here and get all the way to the bottom. Any new detailing products that you're excited about? Not really. I mean, we've made some major strides in the last 10 years or 8 years or 5 years. And now it's kind of slowly, I think we're in a bit of a lull. Let's see. When's Stubby Ego Nozzle? Go to obsessgarage.com and buy it. I'm assuming you're not joking with me. We have a pre-order set up. Hiring again soon. Bummed to miss out on the last opportunity last year by hesitating. Been trying to keep an eye out. Yeah, well, no, because Kyle just hired someone yesterday to help him. And then we do need a video guy. Someone who isn't annoying. But this is entry level is what we need. Let's see. Where are we at here? Okay, Matt, any update with your meeting on the architect? Also curious your thought when people say that landlords aren't technically a job. Well, I mean, if you're a landlord and you own real estate, that's technically a, passive vehicle. But we all know that if you're good at managing rental real estate, that in order to be good at it, it's a job. Sure, certainly a job. Our good friend out in Seattle, I don't know if I'm going to call her, but she does nothing but that. Her and her husband, they both do rental only, and she does extremely well, and that's all they do. And so her and her husband, they get to live this amazing life where they get to go where they want to go, do what they want to do, see what they want to see, raise their child or children if they have more, and just have this amazing life that other people will never have, and they'll probably be wealthier than anybody else because they just, once they figured out the formula, they just repeat it. But they have a passion for it. You have to have a passion for that, and otherwise it becomes a bit of a problem, I think, in that, you know, you get stuck, and then you get accustomed to the money, and then you're stuck being a landlord, and maybe you don't want to do that. And the update on the architect, it didn't go well. It was terrible. I thought it was going great, but then he drew something up and took all these artistic liberties. I don't want artistic liberties. I want you to do exactly what I told you I want. I get it that most people probably go in there and say, I know what I want. And then he draws it, and they comes back and say, oh, wow, you know, this is way better. No. I said, this is freaking terrible. And I had almost a mental breakdown. I said, I'm not building the house. I quit. I'm done. My house has been a disaster. The paint cabinets are terrible. The thing is taking forever. It's been a mess dealing with the homeowner association. So I took a deep breath. We're going to meet again on Tuesday, and we'll see how it goes. I'll update you after then. 3 things to improve my Sunjoe. 1 would be to smash it. 2nd would be to pick up all the pieces, and 3rd would be to put that in the garbage can. That would be 3 improvements you could do to your Sunjoe. I would also like to know when you're hiring more people. Again, we just hired someone. The problem is a lot of you guys are looking for like your 2nd, 3rd job, and that's not generally what I'm hiring now. This is a startup. This is a brand new business. Is Slipstream and Adams Slick and Slide essentially the same product? I don't know. You remember that Adams is owned by a large, I think it's a Canadian chemical manufacturer, something like that. Or I don't know if it's a chemical manufacturer, but a larger corporation bought Adams. Adams had purchased B&B Blending, which B&B had done most, if not all, of Adams Blending, from what I understand, for a long time. And so, and B&B is the blender for my drying aid. So put 2 and 2 together. Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Remember, Adams is consumer focused, especially now. Adams, I don't know if he's out of it or not, but I'm sure he got a pile of cash, like tens of millions of dollars, because the company was really successful. And then Derek came in he was a very successful executive, came in and became the CEO of the company, and I'm sure cleaned up. You saw their assembly lines they put together in their 2nd building. It was really freaking cool, and they made this amazing company. And then Matt Butcher has a lot of great ideas and has a real mind for design and style. And so, those guys built an amazing company, and then they sold it. And then most of them still work there. I'm sure they got a bunch of money each. And then, generally the way those things work is eventually you kind of retire because you've gotten a bunch of money. And so Adams bought B&B in order probably to make it more attractive to sell. I don't know any of this stuff. It's just me looking from an outsider's perspective. And so, B&B products, you would think that Adams would reserve the best products for them. But B&B also has long-standing relationships with other brands that a lot of whom you would probably know, but they wouldn't tell us if we asked. And so it's possible it's completely different. I don't know. I mean, it looks similar, but it's but I don't know. I mean, remember, Adams is focused on price point and consumers, and their customers. I'm focused on what's the best we can get. The Adams pressure washer is absolute garbage. You'll see in the video. It's going to get me in trouble. It's a Chinese knockoff. They probably sent a picture of the Krenza KWS 700 and said, we want it to look like this, only we want it to be junk. So that thing is terrible. Bryce put up there, we're currently hiring for the media team. Matt, what do you think of the new Griot's Garage Brilliant Finish foam cannon versus the MTM? I find it's better foam, but needs more maintenance and care due to cheaper components. Yeah, I'm inclined to hang tight with the MTM because MTM is making these things. They're engineering them in Italy versus what a Griot's is doing. Griot's is not a manufacturer. They're contract manufacturing through China, and they're telling them what they want. And then the way it works with someone like me, let's forget Griot's, but let's say it's me, and they're going to do the same thing as I would. I want to make something. and I contract with a company in China, and I say, here's what I think I want. Then they draw it up for you. And you say, nah, can you change this, change that? Okay, then they draw that up. And then they'll generally have you send 2 or 3 other products that are similar, so that way they can use those to mock it up. And then you're generally going to have to pay for this prototype, depending on how much you're committing to, whether you're paying for all the solid works and all the design, or if they're paying for it, depending on how much you're going to do and how much you commit and what your relationship is with them. So Grios has a great relationship, I'm sure, with their contract manufacturing, and so they're at a disadvantage to an MTM, because MTM is a professional pressure washing supplier. They're making professional grade products versus they're contract manufacturing some Chinese thing. So I'm less likely to be interested in a Griot's foam cannon over an MTM, just simply because of this process. But who knows? Maybe they've created something great. Maybe I should buy one, try it. I don't really have too much of a problem with the MTM. Is why I don't get super interested in new things that come out just because of it. Matt, you should try the Detail Firm's exterior lather shampoo. It's amazing, diluted at 1850 to 1, so you only use a half an ounce in a foam can. Yeah, maybe. I'll try it. I don't know who the Detail Firm is. Hello, Matt from France. Did you test Ava pressure washer? We don't have that one here, so I have not. Thoughts on ceramic coatings used on daily driver that doesn't get stored inside and water spots. Well, you're just going to have water spots. You're going to have contamination, but the nice thing is the water spots ought to be removable, because they'll be hopefully etched into the surface of the coating. And coatings have gotten much better with water spotting. If I was going to daily drive, I would probably still do CSL Exo, and I would just do it once a year. And then, as it starts to build up, then I just crank it out and start over. We know the Columbia pillow is a recommendation for the pillow, but what is your recommendation for a mattress? I hate the mattress world. It's like a high margin, and really difficult thing, like a professional grade. I don't know that that's really a thing in mattresses, but I have a Beauty Rest, Black Series or something like that. It's like a hybrid because it has springs, but it also has a memory foam cushion top. I bought a Tempur-Pedic and I hated that thing. Will Mike be in on Monday? Which Mike? Oh, Mike Figuera. No, I think he'll be here probably Wednesday, I think. She's talked about a mattress before. Or does he check the current rating? Ohm's Law, 30 amps should be plenty. So someone must have had a question. That seems like a good answer. Suggestions on the best product to help remove artillery fungi from my car's paint. I think polishing would probably take care of that. Worst case would be wet sanding. I'm sure there's something you could use to chemically remove it, but I would think I would probably polish it. What was the result of PSB testing? Any good? Oh, yeah. I just made the video today. They are fantastic. Now, personally, I'm not going to have a PSB speaker. I'm going to have a Dyne Audio. You just have to wait for the video to come up. So good. So good. For a couple $100 for a speaker, so good. Yeah, I love them. Brett, what's his channel? I don't think he has a channel. Brett is an E36, E46. I guess he has a business where he modifies them or restores them or something like that. And he started reaching out to me on Instagram and answering all kinds of questions for me. It was super nice. I thought it was kind of cool. But from what I understand, a lot of people say that he acts out on anybody who is new, like on forums and stuff. That he's like an old forum bully, one of those guys. And then I just found it funny when, as soon as the day he got his dry ice machine, he blocked me. I didn't say anything or do anything. Actually, I was in the midst of giving him props on teaching me how to do the Dyne intake on the to make it work with the Euro headlights. So yeah, he's a douche. When will the Adams pressure washer review drop? Yeah, just wait. I don't know. It should be today or tomorrow. I think the guy should almost have it edited. Thoughts on the E92 335i? Just got one with only 40,000 miles. Super clean. It's probably not going to work very well, but because that has what, an N54. But I think that car looks fantastic, especially the IS. Remember the Le Mans? I think it was the Le Mans Blue IS. Man, I loved that thing back in the day. I love the National Lampoon's reference. The Cat active pressure washers jumped up in price, almost $50. Yep. Well, get ready. Get ready. Everything you own, everything you buy, everything you want to get your hands on is going to increase substantially in price. It's just simply container. A container went from $2,500 to $25,000. So that cost has to get assumed somewhere because the margins are pretty thin on these. What type of car wash should be used for regular car washes on a coated car? I like Coach Chemie GSF. Frank says, can you provide a short explanation of the boom pole setup? For example, how do you get the correct size hoses? So once you get your boom pole, or you can use the schematics on like Mosmatic's site. If you look at the bottom, they'll have some diagrams of what the what distances you need and what the lengths of the boom poles are. And so the boom pole will have a spring loaded and then swivel on the end of it. It has like a spring transition where the hose runs through, or in most cases a high quality boom pole where the hose would connect on the end of that. So you have a spring loaded swivel. You'll have a hard line that runs back to the transition point to where the inlet of the boom pole is. So inlet, hard lined. And then there's a flex line with a spring that then connects to so it kind of hangs, hangs loose off the end of the boom pole. And then right from the end of that, the end of your swivel where your hose connects, you measure from that to the floor and add 3 feet. So it's end of the swivel or end of the outlet of the boom pole. So the outlet of the boom pole to the floor plus 3 feet. That's your generally loose formula. I usually like a little bit shorter than that, but that'll get you pretty darn close. And then we're going to be offering custom Cobra Jet hoses, so we'll be able to build them, 13 feet 6 inches if you want in the future, not too distant future. Tuesday is when I have 50,000 feet of Gates smooth jacket blue hose that should be arriving, hopefully with our bend restrictors, because we already got the fittings, and we already have our Gates pneumatic crimper. And we're off to the races, bros. We are looking good. Let's see. So that's a boom pole setup. Are you still interested in doing a dining stroker on the E92? Yes, someday. I don't speak like a child. Please put that on a shirt. We tried doing some Maddie references and no one wanted them. So we ended up just selling all those shirts. Yeah, Matt is happy in videos all the time. I'm happy. It's just my face, and some people can't recognize that. Alligator window tint, $5, $4.99. I have CSU 2 layers of XO on my black truck that does not fit inside. I've never had a problem with water spots. There you go. CSU is a little better with water spots than CSL is, but CSL isn't particularly difficult with water spots. Thanks for that, Martin. Let's see. Your content is top. From regards from Romania. Thanks. Just wanted to say thank you, Robert Floria from Romania. That's quite a distance from here. Have you received scuffed up MSS Plus cabinets, or is it just me? Yeah, I mean, pretty much every cabinet's going to have something on it. I mean, if it gets really rough, certainly. I mean, we can replace it. But it's the shippers, man. It's difficult to get these thousands of pounds of cabinets. Pretty much any commercial grade product I've ever gotten, I've always had to kind of like my Sabre cabinets I had to rubber mallet it back in place. Have you ever smoked weed? No, I haven't. I have no interest. Ever have any interest in driving any of your cars hard? That's funny. At what point in my side detailing hustle should I spring for a Rupes Nano? Well, we should have day one. Hard to justify currently with 3 feet or 3 inch and LHR maybe doing 1 polish a month. I would have bought it day one. So get it now. Hey Matt, did you negotiate the deal on the GT3 upon order when you felt? Let's see. When have you dealt with your dealer? That's what he meant. Throwing in ADM at the last moment. Good dealers won't do that. Mine won't. So yeah, he said, man, sorry, I meant dealt. Yeah, a good dealer wouldn't do that. Oh, super chat. That's how you get my attention. Frank L, thanks, OG bro. Yeah, no problem, buddy. Thanks for the $20. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's see. Is the Taycan out of your realm? Yeah, I'm just not really interested. It's a lot of money. I mean, I couldn't even stomach doing the Model S. I'm not balling hard enough to just throw that much money in a car I'm not passionate about. I'd rather have an NSX. Let's see. Why don't you buy a shed in Texas like Elon Musk and pay less taxes on your income as CEO? Well, I pay, there's no state income tax here in Florida, so I'm pretty sure that we're in the most favorable area. Because in Texas, you have to apply for a permit. What's the best exhaust upgrade on the 718 GT4 in your opinion? Well, this isn't an opinion. This is my experience, which is a little bit different because I've tried a bunch of them. I think the best and simplest thing to do is to just do the over-axle pipes. Sole over-axle pipes, leave the rear section, disconnect the valves completely. I don't think you need to waste the money or time on the valve controller. It sounds freaking great. The only thing that's going to get better over time is when they come out with a way to do over-axle delete, the OPF delete, with so when Dundon comes up with a rear section to help with, because the Dundon headers sound kind of raspy and stuff. Yes, I am caught up on Ted Lasso. If you haven't watched Ted Lasso, you need to. It's so freaking good. Season 2 is nowhere near as good as Season 1, but it was still good. Versce, V-U-R-S-C-E, Versce. LOL, my dream job is to be a woodland firefighter, but also side hustle passive income, since that is not a job to get rich. Yeah, a good point. Yeah, so you have to figure out how to... A firefighter is a good way to get rich, I think, because you can do that, have a stable, steady job income, paying in, get a pension when you retire. You have to think a little bigger, I think, because you have a $3,000 or $4,000 or even $5,000 a month pension versus having $12 million in the bank. It doesn't even $5 million in the bank is, and I know that's out of the realm for most people, but I think that it's not out of the realm of dreamers, especially if you have passion and you have drive and you're hungry. Hey, Matt, I'm currently 21 years old, a graduate with an MIS degree in February, and have a consulting gig, computer system validation for pharma, making $50 an hour. What should my first steps post graduation be? First step should be, how are you going to kill it? You better show up early, stay late, figure out how to work your way up in that company with that gig, how to provide as much value as possible, find a mentor, figure out what your continued path of education is going to be, and then figure out how you're going to get out of that to make more money in the next step. That's about the best advice I can give you. Jeff Johnson, whoa, $1,500 for the polisher. Yikes. Ooh, that's spicy. What was ours? Ours was $1,000, and yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for me. I'm out at that price. But he's only doing 100. It's a special edition run. Costs a lot to do that paint and to break down and put the machine back together. So he's not overcharging. I guarantee he's probably making a decent margin on it, maybe 30-40% on it. But he's not going to make a lot of money on that. But yeah, $1,500. That's spicy. That's a spicy burrito right there. Thanks, Matt. Stephen Nelms. Yeah, man, no problem. Go get it. Make it happen. So see what happens there. Like, Stephen didn't take that as an insult. Get a better job. At least I don't think he did. I hope he didn't. He's taking it as, hey, I like my job, but I want to make more money. So it's not get a better job. It's how do I supplement? How do I supercharge my job? That's getting a better job. And because we're using job as a sort of a euphemism for a bigger, a bigger scheme or a bigger thing, thinking bigger. Let's see. Bought your drying aid. Great stuff. I live in Canada. Cost me twice as much Canadian. Sucks plus shipping. Yep, that's why we need to be in Canada, bro. I'm going to work on that. I have a 1M. Any idea where to get OEM mats? Yeah. I mean, mats have been tricky. I just hoarded. I just bought 3 sets of E46 mats, which I got thanks to, was it Thick Whips? Or was it Streets on Treats on Streets to Treats? There's 2 E36 guys that I watch on YouTube. What's his name? Treats Streets or something like that, and then Thick Whips, THICCWIPS or something. One of them said, "Hey, the dealerships have them," so I ordered them from GetBMWParts.com. I ordered 3 sets of them, so now I have them. I'm hoarding them. I also am hoarding. I got clear Euro tail lights that got broken, so I'm going to find another set. I've got clear side markers and clear turn signals. I don't plan on putting them on, but I have them in case I decide. Hey, Matt, what do you advise I do for a containment mat? My shop has no drain, so I have to figure out another system that can contain and dispose of water for my wash process. I think there's only one company that makes that. I don't know the name of it, though. There was only one that I was aware of, but maybe there's more now because there's some issues that California and stuff with water issues. But I don't know. I don't have any advice for you there. Sorry, I missed some questions. Garage not ready. Clutter, walls, ceiling, added electricals. Got to do. Buy Swiss Trex now or later. Concerns of higher prices later. Buy it now because prices are going to go up and they're not going to have it. So buy it now. I would strongly suggest that. I'm assuming, Matt, you don't watch Cletus McFarlane. I do watch. It was his name, Garrett. I don't watch him often, but occasionally. Adam's is good friends with him. I've met him once, but I haven't spent any time with him. But he's super sharp. Would you ever go back into wealth management? God willing, absolutely, positively not. No, never, ever, ever. Looking for good bedroom stereo speakers to complement my TV audio and recommendations. There's a bunch of different ways you could go. How much money do I got to work with? This is AE Squad. Tell me how much money I got to work with, and I'll catch up to that at the bottom here. Let's see. Giovanni, I've been really considering starting a pressure cleaning business. Build a pressure cleaning flatbed truck or van and hire one guy to run it and do the marketing and find clientele. Any thoughts? First of all, I think I would probably do a pull behind. I'd try to get a Karcher professional, diesel driven monster, 8, 9, 10 gallons a minute. I would really focus on. I'd get a bunch of automatic surface cleaners and stuff like that. But you're talking real blue collar job, you're going to be probably having some turnover unless you get really lucky. So that's a tough gig. That kind of service related business is a tough gig, and you're not going to get rich doing that. Maybe that's not the goal. We're catching up here. Let's see here. Where was I? Hey, Matt from the UK. Have you any experience with Geon products? Yep, I've tried pretty much every one of them. I like them. It's just that I like CarPro better, and so most of the time they're just a redundancy to what CarPro has. But they make great products. You can't go wrong with them. They're all great, and the people here, especially in the U.S., I'm sure the people in the UK that represent the product are probably great. Jeff here in the U.S. is world class. So, it's a sharp company. I just haven't had anything that I've fallen in love with that I just absolutely have to have. Plus, I was kind of blocked from buying it from some of the main distributors when it first came, when it first started coming here to the U.S., when I first got it going. And so then I fell in love with CarPro and just haven't had a need to make any transition on anything. Like, Eraser and Prep are very similar. I like Eraser a lot. I haven't found a need. I don't like their coatings. There's just too many of them. And I much prefer G-Technic or CarPro coatings over those. Let's see here. Matt, before OG started, you were struggling with your mental health. Do you have any advice on how you found your way to move forward from it? Well, I still struggle with my mental health every day, all day. Yeah, I mean, you need therapists, and you need to. So I need a psychiatrist and a psychologist, and they need to be good, and you need to do it regularly. I spend 600. No, yeah, I spend $600 a month on average on psychotherapy, on my therapist that I talk to once a week. And then probably, I meet with my psychiatrist via Zoom once every 4 months or so. I'm not on any medication right now, so I don't need to meet as often. But you just have to work on it and try different things. Frickin' sucks. I just received my 75-foot hose, 20-foot attachment hose, the 40-degree nozzles. I have the Karcher 1700. Will it work on another pressure washer? I would decide to go with a different model later. Yes, it will. You'll just probably have to get some different fittings depending on what you do. How do I keep going back up here? I keep finding other questions. Jordan says Camellia is wondering when you're going to revisit marathon training. Oh shoot, I need something. Oh Lord, that was a couple of years ago. I decided I was going to do a marathon, so I hired Jordan's wife to coach me, and then I quit. I don't quit very often, but the marathon I've quit on 4 times. Sorry about that. Tell her I'm maybe something. Best wash to use on ceramic coating, GSF. Yep, still GSF. Will the new sprayer fix the issue with my Pressol? Is that what he's probably talking about? Pressol bottle being sucked in from the bottom. Yeah, probably. New sprayer should fix it. What are your thoughts on CarPro Reset? I was talking to Bradley about this, Bradley Nielsen. The original CarPro Reset didn't foam at all. He's telling me it foams great, so maybe I ought to revisit it. But I love the 2 soaps that I have, so I don't really need anything else. Decon and GSF. Have you ever dealt with Husqvarna pressure washers? I haven't, but I think they're only gas, and if they're not, they're just going to be some AR variant or knockoff, or private labeled. How often should I use Decon soap in a coated car? Maybe once a year. Yeah, he says, shipping is brutal. It sucks. I've talked about this a lot, so this is going back to Chris and MSS Plus, and it's such a shame to get something so nice you've worked your whole life for, and then they kind of bang it up a little bit, and then we all tend to be even more dramatic. Like I'm always very dramatic when I get something, like I can never get anything right, this sucks, the world's out to get me, and then I eventually kind of put it together and fix it, or get a little paint marker and touch it up. And I think most of us understand the difficulties of this kind of stuff, and the people who just some of it just bashed in, or it's really damaged, or it's really bothering you, we got to fix it. But most of the time, if we think about it, take a deep breath, figure out, is this worth pursuing? But some people have the mentality. Most people who get to the level to get MSS Plus are not going to have that mentality of you owe me, screw you. This is insane that the customer's always right. Chris, you can even tell in his voice here that he's not having that. But certainly reach out to Kyle, and I'm sure if it's really bothering you, or it's a big problem, then we can fix that. Let's see. I bought an LED steering wheel on my E92. Do I need the OHC box? I don't think you do. I bought one of those too, but did you buy some janky crap, or did you buy the BMW Performance? Any news on a 458 Speciale? A 458 Speciale and a 997.2 GD3 RS have left me behind. Unless I start making like $8 million a year, I'm not buying either one of them. They've just skyrocketed in price. I should have bought them both and just taken out a loan and gotten them before. God dang it. Yeah, season 2 of Ted Lasso went complete woke and they ruined it. I don't know about complete, but yeah, it's not perfect. Had a project car, sat outside for 3 years. Finally finishing up. Tips on cleaning the paint. You're just going to have to wash clay, and then if there's no such thing as paint being dry Or you said paint is still dirty. You're gonna have to polish the heck out of it. Should your first polish be a 3-inch or 5-inch? Definitely 5-inch. LHR 15 Mark III. Do you have any interest in getting in the medical cannabis industry? Absolutely none. Hey Matt, tonight Heartland Season 15 launch event here in Canada on the CBC. I will be watching. I just have a don't tell anybody, but I just have a VPN. I go to Gem and stream it there. I would gladly pay for it. Just let me pay, but they don't have any way to do that. Let's see. Still waiting on Ozark Season 4. Ozark's okay. I know people love that, but it's okay. I've watched it. Any plans on upcoming Garage live stream? I need to do that more. I think you guys like that. We were talking about the other day because the podcast has kind of gotten stagnant in that it's it's the same few people watching. You guys like it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I like doing it, so I think that I need to do more and just kind of get it moving more. Hey man, what's your advice? What's some advice you have? I have a Roth IRA through work and wanted to ask if there should be anything else I should be doing to maximize my salary, about $65,000 a year. Unless you're maxing out the Roth, like you're putting 19.5 in it, stop doing a Roth and start doing a regular IRA contribution. I hate this whole Roth thing. I've talked about this many times. Just think about this logically. If I'm only able to put 10 grand in, so let's say I'm taking a good percentage of my income to say 15% of my 65K, and let's just round it to 10K. So I'm able to put 10K in. I'm not able to put the full 19.5 in. So I'm doing 10K, and that's after tax. So if I were able to do 10K after tax, I could do 12 or whatever. Just do the math of what you're actually paying in tax. If you're making 65, you're not paying a whole heck of a lot of tax, paying virtually none. But you are probably still, when you have FICA, because you will be paying your percentage of Medicare and Social Security, the FICA tax. What is that? 7.65%, something like that. And then you are still paying some federal income tax, not a lot, but some. So let's just say it ends up averaging out to be 8 or 9, 10%. So it's still 15% tax is your sort of blended tax rate. So 15% comes off the top. So instead of doing 10, you could do 11.5 and still end up with the same amount of money in your paycheck showing up at your bank account each month. So 11.5 is better than 10, especially over a long period of time. And I don't buy this bull crap that, I want to have all of my money tax-free when I'm retired because they have required minimum distributions and all this stuff when I get to age 70. Yes, that's true. But if I have the choice, if I give you the choice and say, okay, because that extra $1,500 a year compounded at a decent rate of return, 6, 7, 8, 12%, depending on how lucky you get, on how you manage it and how you don't do stupid things over a long period of time. Hopefully your salary increases, so then you're able to max out your 401k later. Then maybe you could make an argument that maybe a Roth is better. But then again, I'd be better off taking the extra money that I saved and deferring the tax and then investing in a brokerage account. You're going to have a bigger principal value. So I could get my 10B2 app out here and calculate it for you. But let's just say, would you rather have $5 million taxable or $3 million tax-free? I'll let that sink in. And some people say, I'd rather have $3 million tax-free. Well, screw that. Give me the $5 million. I'll figure out how to pay the tax. And here's a couple of things you may think of, or may not think of. What happens if if you have $5 million, chances are you have some consulting capability. Maybe you own some buildings. Maybe there's a loss you'll take at some point. By the way, I'm talking about a Roth 401k, not a Roth IRA. Let's say a Roth 401k would be 19.5. Roth IRA would be 6,500. And if you're saving 6,500, that's not enough. You need to get your crap together. So and I'm not a big savings guy, but you need to save more than that. So you may have a business loss or sell a property loss or something, and you could do a conversion, or you could just pay for that. You could take money out of your IRA and put it in your brokerage account and get it out tax free because you're offsetting the tax loss. You may have, sometimes losses like that are hard to calculate, and especially if you don't have a subchapter S corp or something like that. But you may have some sort of loss. So what I'm getting at, there may be some circumstances where you could take from your IRA tax free. If you go into a medical facility of some sort, like Medicare or not Medicare, you wouldn't qualify for Medicaid if you had that much money. But you go into a long-term care facility, or you go into one of these resorts for old people. A certain percentage of that is a medical deduction, and it might be a significant amount. You could then take distributions out of your IRA to essentially tax-free, or you take that IRA and you stretch it and you pass it on to the next generation, and they slowly pay the tax over time. But all the while, you're compounding a bigger principal value. So I'm not a big proponent of Roth, but that's just me. Hey, Matt, whatever happened to Jared? I think he's talking to Jared Toops. Jared, I don't know. He went nutty on me a couple of times. That finally just went away, so thank goodness. Such a good guy, good kid, and just, I don't know. He just has anger issues. I don't know what it is, but he worked for Chicago Auto Pros for a short period of time, but I don't know what he's doing now. Maybe he's selling cars again. Hey, Matt, I'm 36 years old, been in enterprise tech sales for 10 years, so since his mid-20s. I make a decent amount of money, $365,000 a year, but I want out. I know what I want to do now, but I'm scared to make the leap. Well, what's your lifestyle look like? Because, I know when I was making $365 or $400, that my lifestyle wasn't that far off from that, and I was saving, probably 50, 60, 80 grand a year on that. Not enough, but buying cars and houses and things like that, and living a good life. So it depends on what your lifestyle looks like, how much money you've saved, how many outside investments you have. Some guys like you that are super sharp end up owning a bunch of real estate, a bunch of rentals, and you have a bunch of side hustles going on. Some of you don't. I never did, because I was so laser focused on what I was doing. My side hustle became this. So I'm a big proponent of side hustling your way into the side hustle, where it just becomes natural, where it's one of those things where your job becomes an inconvenience. This is stolen from my coach. He told me someday my job of wealth management would become an inconvenience to my passion. And that happened, and of course I got fired, so it made it easy for me. It's hard to give that up, I was making, I don't even know, I was making over $500,000, and they took it away from me. That's a stinger. So I think it depends on what your prospects are for what you're going to do next. Plans on phasing out Beadmaker? Yeah, we're just selling off what we have left. You think I should transition or make the jump and go all in? I don't like the all in part. That's what I was talking about. Have you tried Jesus Christ as your Savior? I think he's talking about mental issues. I'm a Christian, and I'm a believer. Yeah, I'm not very good with the whole faith thing, though. I'm a pretty controlling dude. What are you going to do the next Tail of the Dragon run? Shiny Fenders, my friend. I want to come so badly. You have no idea. I see all my friends up there. You guys there in the summer. I saw you there, or see my GT3 buddies there in October, and just last week. And I want to go so badly, and I'm just having a tough time. I'm doing a different process with driving. What I've done in the past is gone up there white knuckle and just powered through. I'm attempting to fix my issues of getting and having panic attacks while driving. And so I've had to forego immersing myself into such aggressive driving right off the bat. Any advice to get a girlfriend? Yeah, it's TikTok and Instagram DMs. I wish I had that. I would have had a lot more ability. It would have asked out a lot more girls if I had had the ability to do it anonymously online. Certainly would have gotten turned down a lot more, but it wouldn't have been as painful. What's your favorite part about the B8 S4? How it looks, but certainly not how it drives. Gosh, I hate that. I'm sorry for your love for a pig, but I just can't do it. I had an S4 for a while and I just hated it. Have you seen the pivot sprayers? Yeah, I told that story about that guy, how he wanted to send me the bottles and he was just jerking me around the whole time. You fill out this NDA and that NDA, and I finally said, I'm out. I'm not that interested anyway. It's probably not very good, but maybe. I don't know. If it was that good, it would have taken off already. How did you go about finding OGHQ? Looking at starting a small specialty dealership, and results from LoopNet are a lot to be desired. I wouldn't be here if there were lots of building around here. I just pulled into the parking lot and saw a for lease sign, and it all kind of worked out. So good luck. It depends on your area. Some areas you got plenty of places to shop around, but you get yourself a commercial realtor, sit down with them, explain to them what you're looking for, and they would probably be able to help you. Any experience with big boy pressure washers? Just look at it. It's the same Chinese crap that everybody else has, so don't get too excited about it. Have you thought about using... But big boy doesn't have a 110 volt pressure washer from what I understand. Have you thought about using the Helix DSP amplifier, DSPs, or DSP amplifiers over the Moscone? No, it's just... I love the Moscone stuff. I think it sounds great. Any thoughts on Bose and Harman Kardon? Yeah, both are garbage. Yes, that is a good assessment. Harman Kardon generally in the past has been good, but not now. Join late. How is the house hunting for friend sharing going? I talked about how that, just go back and watch the beginning. Talked about that. E46 or E92? Definitely E92, V8, all I need to say. Mutual funds or ETF? Both. Forget cost. Stop getting freaking cheap. Just get what's best. And you don't know what's best, so that's why I got to hire somebody. But don't be cheap. I pay my guy 1% of my money. I'm paying him a lot of money a year. Plus, I got ETF internal expenses or mutual fund ETF expenses. Just pay it. Who cares? So yeah, don't get. I'm not saying you're getting cheap on me, but ETFs are not the end all be all. So they make sense. But mutual funds are great too. I want both. What are your thoughts on Audison speakers? I've never heard them, but I've always been intrigued by like Audison amplifiers. And every time I get excited to try to get them, then usually the audio guys always talk me out of them. I just don't have any experience with them. Really enjoy your wash and talk videos. Thank you. We're going to build a wash bay here, and then eventually we're going to have like mechanical booms and sliders and all kinds of crap, so we can really get the same feel of you hanging out in the garage, but really cinematic and lots of cool stuff. That's what I want to do. We're going to get there. Have you checked out the JL VXI series amps for running active crossovers? I don't like active crossovers, but I'm sure we're going to do some active stuff. I prefer just give me the crossover for the speakers, unless you're doing some custom array of speakers. I want to use the darn Dyne Audio crossover. It's better than doing it active, I think, because they've spent so much time in anechoic chambers figuring out what's the best thing to do and what's the best way to calibrate. What about timepieces? Do you have a passion for watches? I like looking at them and I want to like them, but I just don't. I have a Omega Seamaster that's sitting in my frickin' safe that's probably worth nothing. So it's a Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. Is that worth anything? I'd sell it right now. I paid $13,000 for the thing. I think it's only worth $5,000. But have Omegas, because Omegas are not Rolex, have those appreciated at all? Where could I get some money for that thing? Matt, where's the Yeti? I do. We're going to do some dry ice cleaning of that here soon, and I have to change the. I have to change the sealant in the tires, but I'm going to get out and start riding here. Probably this weekend. We talked about the HOA. What are your main sticking points on not going through with Destination OG? Money. I need more money. Houses need to come down in price, and I need more money. What was the Morel speakers you decided to go with? I'm not sure. We'll share all that when we get that done. Yes, there will be a Black Friday sale this year, Sonic will be a part of that for sure. Favorite town, city in Orlando, Windermere, Florida. That's my favorite. Let's not leave the Facebook people out here. Shoot, I'm 2 hours and 15 minutes in. This is good. Or I guess no, I started late, so I'm only 2 hours in. Here's an audio question for you, Matt. This is from Tomer Bueno. He keeps posting and talking about Dyne Audio. Why did he move on from Klipsch, and what does he think about Macintosh amps? I'm well aware that Macintosh amps aren't the best amplifiers in the world, but I like them. Doesn't really apply to the garage as much, I don't think, but who knows? Maybe someday I'll be able to sell some Macintosh stuff and provide Macintosh. Klipsch is a terrible solution for the garage. Too bright, too tinny, very efficient. Klipsch is really fun. Klipsch is a good entry point into home theater, but Klipsch is not great. And I'm a huge Klipsch fan. I've had 10 different types of Klipsch speakers. I've had KLFs, I've had Klipsch horns, I've had many different of reference series. I've had, Klipsch sound bars, lots of the Klipsch computer speakers, all kinds of Klipsch stuff. Highly recommend them. Not for this application, not for me anymore. And now, with my love affair with PSP, and there's no even need for Klipsch. Does your new pressure washer that he's putting in the yarn building have automatic on-off? No, it's a 30-second time delay. There's no pressure switch, so it's going to run for 30 seconds. Matt, do you have a solution for strong Tupperware? I have matching sets, but lids stack pretty janky. No, but I need to figure this out. If you figure that out, let me know. Why don't you wash the Raptor? Because it's Michelle's car. She trashes it, and I'm going to ruin it. She's going to ruin it anyway. But I need to dial it in. Matt, Larry just released his custom ammo Bigfoot 21 today. Is there any chance you'd be able to do a collab with Rupes? I'd like to, but I don't know. $1,500 is a lot of jack. What does Matt think of the AirPods Max? I like them. I haven't heard them, but I'll probably buy a set of them at some point. I don't really need them because I have my Sennheisers, but I probably should get them because I like all things Apple generally. Are you excited for Thanksgiving coming up and all the gravy you will be able to put on your stuffing, mashed potatoes, and turkey? No frickin' gravy. Make your mashed potatoes good. Make your stuffing good, and there's no reason. And don't call it dressing, you Southern weirdos, Southerners. It's stuffing, and there's no reason to put any extra fluff on it. Is there any chance you're buying a 918 one day? Not unless you want to give me $2 million. So probably not. They're up to like $1.5 million to $2 million now, aren't they? AG wheels and Euro Connects came out with the OEM Plus style 359s with better aggressive offsets where you won't need to run spacers. Yeah, maybe I'd be interested in something like that. Worst mod on any car to date, biggest regret. I'll have to come back to you on that one. Will the Ego subby blower attachment fit the C650 CFM? Definitely. Yeah, it definitely fits that. Is the Milwaukee snubby blower attachment in the works? It's not in the works. But the Milwaukee blower sucks. It's not very good. But we probably will make one. Are you interested in a Gen 3 Raptor? Yes, I want to get that. I'd like to sell the Gen 2 and get the Gen 3, but I'm not in any dire rush. What is the top priority for curated manufacturing products to be leased? Hoses. Definitely hoses. When will I be able to order an OG spec 3/8-inch pressure washer hose in custom length? Hopefully in the next month. Probably after Black Friday. We'll see how it goes. Have you used the Ego 615 blower? I haven't yet. I need to get one. I know you prefer this 580 650 because of the high-pitched shrill sound. Maybe the 615 will be middle ground. I would assume the 615 is going to replace the 580, but I that's what I would assume. I need to get one and try it out. What type of blade have you had the best luck with on a circular saw when cutting Swiss tracks? You want a high tooth, like a 60-tooth blade for that. It will give you the best result, but you could use anything. You can use a framing blade. It just kind of beats it up quite a bit. Hey Matt and Chris, I live in Ocala. A friend and I stopped by the shop Monday and picked up some GSF and drying aid, tire dressing, brake buster. Went straight home to wash the cars and fell in love with all of it. It was so awesome being able to see everything in person rather than on video. Yeah, thanks for coming by. Anybody, if you ever want to come by, come on over. How do you deal with capital gains? How long do you have to reinvest the money? How much are you taxed in Florida if you don't reinvest? Well, it depends on what you're doing. If you're selling a stock, unless you do a wash sale and rebuy that security back, you're going to pay capital gains on it, so that doesn't help. You just I just realize them when it's time to realize them, pay the tax, and move on to the next thing. And my CPA will give me some advice on it, but I don't worry too much about it. If you're doing it, was a 1031 exchange on a piece of property or something, I guess you'd have to do that quickly. But I don't own any real estate outside of a building and my house, so I'm not really the guy to ask about that. There's certainly some advantages to being obsessed with that kind of stuff, and I understand it, but I don't really spend much time thinking about it. You say the AR630 looks janky, yet it outperforms the Krenzel. Is the janky look the only reason you don't like it? Why don't you use it more to see how long it performs? Well, it's funny you mention that, because that's going to go in my garage at my house, and for that particular reason, I want to spend some more time with it. And let's see. I'm kind of checked out here now. I'm answering these too fast. We talked about the HOA already. Have you ever listened to Hi-Fi Man? I haven't, but I have done some research on them. Hi-Fi Man headphones. When is a detailing video on the forklift? We just talked about that. Hopefully soon. I start watching you do your panic attack stories. Did you ever try meditating, yoga? I probably should do that kind of stuff, but I just don't have an interest. But I probably should. Marantz, Denon, or Yamaha? I like Yamaha. I think Yamaha sounds the best, and I like the interface the best. I've had them all. How do giveaways usually work? I don't care what you say. I want that E46. Giveaway is you buy crap, and I pick someone at the end. It's usually like a 1 in a couple of 1,000% or a couple of 1,000 chance of winning. It's pretty good odds. You go to obsessedgarage.com. When we do the giveaway, you buy some of the things from that page, and we're good to go. Have you ever coached any kids' sports? Funny you mentioned that. We're just talking about that. I've never coached anything, ever. I'd probably be pretty darn good at it. I just don't have an interest in doing that. But, yeah, I probably should coach something here soon. I'm trying to get my driving back so I can go and drive to places and drive wherever I want. And so if I can get over that, then I can go. I'd like to coach something. Or be an assistant coach. Let's see. Last couple of questions. Are there any more home update videos? Yes, there will be one next week on YouTube. There are tons on the Inside the Hex area, which you should. Do you have a vacuum cleaner solution? Not yet. But you think you can't go wrong with Festool. I'd like to do Festool, but they don't have any in stock. Matt, do you invest in cryptocurrencies? I wouldn't call it investing. I would call it just seeing what it's about. But I have a Coinbase Pro account that I just kind of figured out and talked to my friend Scott Ailes, the Trice Man, about it a little bit. Where I own $35,426.20 of Bitcoin and Ether. 51% Bitcoin, 48% Ether. So I have 0.336 Bitcoin and 4.736 Ether. So I put 25 grand in there, I don't know, 4 months ago, something like that, and I will never do anything with it. I don't give a crap. I really just wanted to see how the interface worked. I mean, how what is it like? So I've made 10 grand, but I haven't made anything unless I sell it. So I have zero interest other than it's kind of like the Tesla. I have zero interest in the Tesla, but I want to stay relevant, and so that's why. Is Matt a fan of Queen the band? Not really. It's a little too dramatic for me. Waiting for you to get the NSX. I have a 2019. It's awesome. I'm going to get an NSX probably pretty soon. I think that's it, folks. Who says I can't be... I saw a recent video where Matt told Adam to be wary of Bitcoin since it might have maxed. No, I didn't say anything about maxing. And I know I didn't say anything about that. I just said it's stupid. It is stupid. The question is it viable? Is this a viable thing? And the stupidity of it, the stupidity of the ignorance of people messing with it, and of ignorant people. There are some really sharp people in the Bitcoin area learning how to take money from the idiots, right? They're learning how to take money from the idiots. And so, and Adam would be an idiot. I would be an idiot. And so the way to not be an idiot is to buy some of it and just forget about it. Or to get into it. Like immerse yourself into how to take money from idiots. You learn how to count cards, learn how to win at blackjack. I had a friend in college who was immersed himself in, he would go to Atlantic City, and Bobby Jones was his name. He was our captain on the volleyball team, he was our setter, and I was a freshman, and he learned how to count cards. And he learned how to make money going to Atlantic City and then transitioning from place to place. And you can certainly figure out how to make money if you immerse yourself into that. But if I wasted any time jerking around with trying to make a return on Bitcoin, I would lose out on the rest of my life. So stop jerking around with that and figure out how to make a better life for yourself and create your own destiny and hope instead of trying to hope and get lucky. So stop this nonsense about that. So I do own it. I'm interested in it as a currency, interested in it as a lending vehicle. Get rid of all the boilerplates. I freaking hate banks. I hate banks more than I hate dealerships. Morons. And they're run by morons, and they're run by these ridiculous regulations. I love the fact that it's the Wild Wild West. So I wanted to be interested. How does a wallet work? How do I buy the security? I almost screwed up and bought it on regular Coinbase, not Coinbase Pro. Paid like 12% in fees or something like that. So that's the extent of what I know about it. I bought BTC and ETH and split 50-50, and I'll never touch it. Or if I do, I'll just get bored with it and just give me that money back. But really, it's there. We're accepting crypto as a currency on our site, I think. I think you can pay with that. And so that's something that I think is interesting. So anyway, we'll see you guys soon. I'm going to go get a drink of water. I should probably start bringing water when I do this, but then I have to pee. So we'll see you guys next week. Chris will be back. I will probably do some more garage, what do they call it, rage polishing or live rage polishing, stuff like that. So because the Raptor has to get done soon. And my cars are all coming up on needing to get polished. We have to do the E36 soon. We have to do the E46, and who knows what else we'll get into. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all your questions. This was fun. Thank you. I thought I'd be over questions in a few minutes, but you guys have been super awesome to help me participate and give me something to talk about. So anyway, I'll see you soon. And if those of you guys are local, there's an all-German car show. It's going to be terrible. But we can make it cool. It's at Harbor Hills, my community. It's I think it's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll post it on Instagram soon here. All of us OG guys are going to be there. Most of the employees who have German cars. And it's the 16th, so it's not this Saturday. It's next Saturday. I'd love to see you guys local if you come up. Let's take it over. Let's do that. So I should probably start promoting it a little bit more, and I'd love to hang out with a bunch of OG guys. Even if you're not putting the car in the show, you can at least come up and park, and we can hang out. My cars will be there. I'll be taking them all there. So see you soon. See you next week.